Hi, this is Dr. Doreen Downing. I'm excited to welcome you to the Mindset Social Author Series. And today I'm welcoming a new friend. We're just starting our conversation before we got online here. And I said, whoa, 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 let's start recording because we are already uh, exploring what mindfulness means. So today I'd like to introduce you to Kelly Wiseman. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Doreen. So happy to be here. It's my favorite subject, has been for a number of years.
Mine too, and so wonderful that we get to share your perspective in your book today. And so, just a little bit about you. I have a tiny bio. I'd like to just give some background so folks understand where you're coming from. So, growing up in an Air Force family taught her resilience and adaptability, and her love of fitness led her into a career in wellness. In 2014, Kelly became the wellness professional at a Central Florida sheriff's office where she recognized the critical need for mental wellness support. And Kelly also brought to life, along with a Disney illustrator, a delightful character, Katie Ladybug, whose mission is to teach mindfulness, awareness, and emotional intelligence in a way that touches both children and adults.
Yeah. Yes, thank you.
Yes, yes, and it is a journey into mindfulness, and that's what Katie Ladybug is all about. And can, but it's actually you that's speaking through the character.
Yes,
Yes,
it is
yeah,
indeed.
yes. So we have so much to cover in just this short period of time, but I always like to inquire back before the book was written. I know that you were in the office, the sheriff's office, and doing mindfulness or wellness, and something happened. I mean, like, how did you turn on to the whole field of
Oh,
wellness and want to learn more and then start to
thank you.
share?
It's always part of the journey, right? So I think
Yes.
my first awareness moment, I was standing, it's probably warrior pose or something in a yoga class when I was living in South Florida. And I had an amazing teacher who ended up being my teacher trainer. I did end up taking my 200-hour white yoga teacher training. And she said something in the cueing of the class that made me realize, oh, I'm in here talking to myself, right? I have this thing like, how long are we standing here? How long do I have to endure this pose, right?
Mhm.
And so that was just a part of the journey because Katie was actually named by my daughter. When she was 4 years old, we were moving from Indianapolis to South Florida. And out of the blue, she's in the car seat behind me, and she literally says, Katie Ladybug. And I'm thinking,
Oh,
as I'm holding onto the steering wheel, flying down the highway, I thought, why did she say that? That's so weird. We don't have any ladybug materials. We don't know any Katies. But boy, Barney the purple dinosaur could make it. Why not Katie the cute ladybug? That's a cute character name.
yes.
That was 1999.
Uh-huh.
Fast forward, I'm trying to figure all this out. I'm listening to a lot of material, doing a lot of my own inner work, but listening to the vocabulary. It became the vocabulary that I was really tuning into because as I'm coaching at the sheriff's office, I'm realizing that I'm not getting through to certain people. And
Mhm.
these people, a lot of them, they carry guns and tasers and they have to make split-second decisions. And I'm looking at them going, wow, you really think that's okay to drink Mountain Dew and Red Bull and donuts and I'm really not getting through to you. And that's when I realized there's a consciousness thing here that is not attainable for some people. So I thought, you know what? Ladybugs, let me get my little Katie here. They have little spots on them and they have this
Yeah.
brilliant red shell. It's kind of like a stop sign, right? So I
Yes.
thought, well, that's a good mission for Katie. She gets your attention. I'm like, oh yeah. You can't teach anybody anything if you don't have their attention. So
Yes.
Katie's the attention getter. Of course, she's absolutely darling.
Uh-huh.
And so, yeah, from there, it was about choosing all the right words to keep it as simple as possible In my book, I used capital letters on certain words. I colorize them, really trying to hold the attention of the reader and the listener for the shortest amount of words, but enough words that help you understand what it means to be aware of what's going on up here first. Of course, physical sensations, and then, of course, emotional components. But it is written as a script. So if you were to read it, if you were a yoga teacher, you would say, well, I'm reading a savasana, basically, the end of yoga class. But it's meant to guide you into that inner world and recognize, just be aware. I have thoughts happening. I
Mhm.
have emotional feelings happening, and I have physical feelings happening, which, my degree was in exercise science. So the whole physical part, that was nothing new for me. But this part, that was new.
Uh-huh. Well,
Does
one
that
of the things I'm already learning from you today is how you considered us, the readers, the listeners, and that's I really it wasn't just about you writing what you believe and what you want to teach, but it was relational, that
mm,
you thought of how to connect with us so that we wake up and say, oh, that there's more willingness on our part to take in what it is you have to offer. And so
thank,
this, yeah.
thank you for that insight. I think I had that. I did. You and I were talking about this before we started recording. That because I recognized my own consciousness binds, and that was primarily from mercury poisoning.
Mhm.
And that is not something that everybody wants to hear about, but it is a truth. And I can go back to every one of my report cards as a child, and it says, Kelly is a daydreamer. Kelly is a daydreamer. Every teacher.
Uh-huh.
And my mom, of course, she just thought, oh, I'm just a bit of an airhead as a child, can't pay attention. Well, when you start, again, I'm a wellness professional. When I started doing the deep dive on things that are blocking our cognition, there are a list, and it is not, it's a truth that a lot of people don't know, and they might not like hearing because it will rub, right? It will nudge their beliefs. And then again, then we have bias. So until somebody's willing to meet their truths and their beliefs of things, they're stuck. And I call it kind of stuck in a lane. Like, oh, you know a lot about that, but over here, kind of stuck in a lane. You haven't opened up to more probabilities or more information. Maybe you just don't have enough information. So
Uh-huh.
it's not to judge, it's just all about awareness. And I consider awareness, that is a human superpower.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Awareness is a superpower that we as humans possess. I would say the leader of our platform, Jonathan Reynolds, that's what he always says is, what is life about? Awareness, just pure awareness. If we just go with awareness. So to go a little bit deeper, this idea that you are reaching and consciously more knowing that people have blind spots or stuckness or come up
Mhm.
against their own belief systems. There seems to be a need, and maybe you do this. How do you help them be willing, at least open to new?
Yeah, there's a whole nother tribe of people that we converse about that very subject. Coming at it with compassion, of course, is very important because they just don't know what they don't know in some cases.
Uh-huh.
In other cases, there really is a bind, is my nice word, on the consciousness that is preventing that flow. And I keep looking for more flow for myself as I've been detoxing mercury for 9 years. And I know that there's more possible. But I think coming at it with compassion, listening mindfully to where that person's showing up, and
Uh-huh.
then offering, I think, a strategic question just a question, because I've always felt like if I can just get the person to go,
Yes, that's what I'm asking.
right?
Exactly. Is the
Yeah.
beginning of the little squeak of the door opening.
The whomness.
Mm, yes.
Yes, and that could be a lot of things. It depends on the situation, the person, your connectiveness with them. But as soon as somebody, you've seen it, as soon as somebody has a strong bias, they do cancel culture,
Yeah.
and
Yes,
then
yes.
you kind of lost your shot, right?
Yes, but I just got what you said around the connectivity to the person with acceptance. Like, you aren't coming at them saying, "Hey, you're stuck." It's just like, "Oh,
That's
this."
where you are.
Yes, and you made it okay and
Mhm.
safe for the person to feel like, "Oh, she's not judging me, she's accepting me." So good, I think I got my answer there. What about, let's go back to the book because that's what we're talking about today and what people can get from it. And I know it's a journey into mindfulness.
Mhm.
Because I know we're talking about the first step, just kind of waking people
Yes.
up to, and that takes awareness, bringing deeper awareness, more expanded awareness, something like that.
Mhm.
What's next?
Well, Katie has a host of friends. What I have learned in this journey is how expensive it is to, get books printed. So my next book it's been written for 3 years. It's Katie Ladybug and the Bright Distraction. Because to me, a lot of my personal work was how easily distracted I was, and to start recognize everything as a distraction. So just that word alone, and it does come up in Katie Ladybug, A Journey into Mindfulness, but I'm like, I can go further into this whole distraction thing, right? So here's the big distraction page, and they're coming from inside and they're coming from outside, and all the colors represent either thoughts, feelings, or emotions. So there's, not that it says it on the page, but all the colors are very representative in the book. But um so my next two characters are two lightning bugs. And again, a non-threatening bug. Typically, I'm introducing bugs that don't bite right away, and playing the human through the bugs. Lightning bugs, their butts light up. So I knew I needed to have strong male characters after a strong, supposedly female character, because there's a space there where I might not reach somebody. So yeah, Katie Ladybug and the Bright Distraction, Doug Lightning Bug and Guy Firefly. One of them shines their little shiny butt in her eye, and she doesn't know how to accept that, right? Like, I don't recognize this means of communication. She finds out that that's what it is, but the startledness and that upset moment of being triggered is brought forth through a simple visual distraction of a bright light. And so every bug will be brought in, not only sharing its superpower, right? I mean, it's amazing. Lightning bugs, they light up. How amazing is
Yeah.
that, right?
Uh-huh.
But I get the humor of your butt lights up to, draw the boys in.
Uh-huh.
But every bug will show its superpower, just like we are unique in ourselves and what we bring to our humanness, so does every bug. And so I think that there's a place to bring in, again, the humor, the respect for one another. Even though they're all bugs, they're different. We are all humans, but we're different. And when I go out and share my story, and at a festival, for instance, and I'm with kids, I'll always ask them, what are you good at? That's your superpower. And it's amazing how timid kids often are. And then I have to bring it out. I'm like, do you run fast? Are you great at art? Tell me you're good at math, or you like to read. Tell me all the things. And you see them look up at their parent like, yeah, what
Oh,
am I good at? And I'm like, yeah, let's
mm,
have that conversation
uh-huh.
more. Let's talk about,
Yeah.
you have a long way to go to develop your superpowers, but you're good at something right now at the level that you're at.
Oh, I love the fact that you are helping them keep coming back to themselves and that kind of outer reference. Am I, the checking in with an adult, checking in with somebody else outside of themselves is, yeah, I guess, one way we get mirrored back for
Hmm.
sure. But I love that you're saying inside of you, and the excitement that you have, the thrill, that's
It's
what I'm
neat because
getting.
it's neat to see them light up when they realize it. Like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I am a fast runner. So that's
Yeah.
amazing. You never know. You might be an Olympian one day.
Yes.
And their eyes are I'm like, you just need more time to be a human and practice.
Yeah.
Nobody's good at everything when you're
Uh-huh.
8 years old, right?
Uh-huh.
But it gets the cog rolling, and then I usually bring out some sort of like a big piece of paper or coloring sheets, so while I'm there conversing with the parents, the kids can be in a creative aspect and not just, hey, it doesn't matter whether you think you're good at coloring or not. We all have a creative nature.
Uh-huh.
And I like to also, when I'm talking to adults, that have cute characters, I'm like, why don't you have a story to go with your cute character?
Uh-huh. Say more about that because you just mentioned that the kids are doing something and then you work with the parents.
Well, the parents, some of them know instantly what I'm doing. They get it, right? But others walk on by and I'm like, okay, that's not a conscious human about, hey, you have a child and you just walked by my booth and I've got this fantastic ladybug sitting here. You didn't even stop. But a parent that does stop and is conversing with me and I'm talking to their child and engaging their child, I think that that is a powerful moment, that I'm not just engaging with the parent. I'm going back and forth from the child to the parent, and we're
Yeah.
having a group conversation and talking about what we're good at and how we have to develop over time. And even as a parent, sometimes we don't recognize that our creativity, whether it's in the kitchen or on a computer or um, who knows if it's sewing, it doesn't matter. They're all amazing things, but nobody came back and told us, you're pretty good at that.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Even if you're not an expert, you're still pretty good at that.
Uh-huh.
And I don't think we say that enough to one
Oh.
another.
Oh, yeah. And I'm also just getting for myself the importance as an adult to have that question that you're asking little kids and the excitement that you are
Mm.
saying. So it'd be like you saying, Doreen, what are you good at? And I feel it. I feel like, and then, okay, so I love watercolor, right?
Wonderful. Yeah.
Yes. And then, well, look at, see, you
Oh,
just
me
lit
too.
up.
No,
You just,
I hate. I just don't have enough time to do all the things I love.
oh, I know. But so but I can see how the mindfulness work, it would be really important because instantly, even I, with all the development I've done as a psychologist and as a mindfulness teacher myself, wow, when I said, oh, it kind of hurt myself right there. I went, oh, but I'm not really an artist. Isn't
Right.
that so? I heard,
Mhm. See
Kelly,
what
I
we
heard
do?
myself say it.
Yes, that's what we do. I don't know that
That
it's just
thing
that
in
we
the
didn't.
head.
Well, we just did we not get enough encouragement? Like what was it? I joke a lot about how my mother, she's a great homemaker and she appreciates a neat home. And imagine being married to an Air Force officer. There's a lot of pride in your yard and how everything looks, and that
Uh-huh.
that's a lot of weight on a child too, on you can only be and act certain ways and everything else is not acceptable, right? It's not acceptable.
Mm.
So, I still deal with some of those things myself to say, I don't have to play that perfect. I
Uh-huh.
can I can be I can be hippie girl, right? I don't.
Yeah.
But the parent told me not to blow through my art supplies.
Uh-huh.
Save those. So you have some for later.
Yeah.
Well, as an artist, you really need to blow through a lot of art supplies to
Uh-huh.
hone your craft.
Yes.
And so most of the time, I just put them away.
Uh-huh.
I can't get them out. I might make a mess.
Mhm.
So I use that as an example. I don't hold that, hold that over my mom's head, but I do recognize that as something. It's important for her to have a tidy home. If I'm going to make a mess, better go take my watercolors or my acrylics or whatever element of
Mm.
creativity I'm doing and take it where it's not going to bother her. Or
Yeah.
if it's in the kitchen, better clean it all
Clean
up,
it up.
put it all away,
Clean it up, put it
put
away.
things back where they belong, right?
Yes. Well, this is yes. Okay, so to come back to the book and
Yeah,
you and what we're just exploring is that belief around how you need to not make a mess, or for me, whatever I had around my belief, it's like, okay, I just became aware of this, and then I could make more of a conscious choice about it, do I really believe that or not? And what does artist, can I really expand what artist truly means? Does it have to be, like somebody that would would be in a gallery? Do I
right.
have to be an artist that's a gallery person? No, maybe I just use my fingers and paint. My goodness. So this whole idea of Ladybug and what she, Katie
Stands
Ladybug's
for.
what she's able to help me say to myself, "Hey girl,
Yeah. And
like
I have the same thing because I've accumulated about 50 authors that all live here in the general area.
uh
And it's funny when because I'm self-published.
yes,
And so the discerning minds, wants to say, well, what would it take to do traditional publishing? I said, well, really, the difference to me is I paid for the project. No one gave me any money to do my project. Well, you could take that in any category, right? If
yeah,
you paid for the project, you should be able to get what you want given the choices provided, right? Like one publisher would not put my book in a hard cover. And I like, well, I think my character in my book is important enough to have a hardcover option. So I'm not going to choose you. I'm going to go
yeah,
choose someone else. But it is interesting how, in the world that we live in, we do have control systems that keep certain things from moving forward to the degree that you're hopeful for. And that's a whole nother state of mindfulness. And
yes,
whether you're not, much like you said with your creativity, I'm not going to be stopped by that. I recognize that it's a barrier, right, of some kind, but I can go over here and I can still work. I still have a fabulous character. I can still print this book in other ways. I might just not be out on the world stage, right? I'm not going to be it's some not today, maybe in the future. Maybe I haven't been discovered yet, but it doesn't keep me
oh.
from playing Katie with my bug. It does not keep me.
Well, one of the things I'm getting is freedom. The way you just
Yes.
described it was you have freedom. And does Katie Ladybug talk about freedom?
You know what? I think that another character needs to come in and
Uh-huh.
represent freedom. And
Okay.
so I'll have to ask you this, like when we're done with this, is there a bug that
Uh-huh.
comes to your mind that
Uh,
um, exudes a
oh, of
sense of
course,
freedom?
butterfly. Of
Okay,
course.
well,
Yeah,
the
of course.
butterfly is already coming.
Yes,
She's gonna exude beauty, of course, but I haven't finished
absolutely.
the book.
Oh,
So I can
absolutely.
weave freedom in with her beauty because she can go up, she could go down, and
Yeah,
dragonflies too, right? They are
yes.
very
Yeah.
very mobile.
Oh, well, we have so much to talk about, but I have to bring this to a close because it's highlighting you, Ladybug, Katie Ladybug, and the book and mindfulness. Anything now that we're coming to a close that you would like to leave listeners with?
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. You know what? Again, I think it all goes back to identifying your superpowers. You know, the ones that are innate as being a human being. You know, the fact that we have these amazing fingers and bodies that do amazing things. And in the full spectrum of humanity, you know, physical, emotional, spiritual, there's a scale. And just to remember that in this lifetime you are here for learning, and to put your toe in the water and experience as many things as you can, not because you're good, just because you experienced it. You'll know by that feeling of passion, this is for me.